Today we're talking about the differences between cesspits and septic tanks. Let's get to it. So let's first cover cesspits. Now, as mentioned, they're outlawed in all 50 states, and so obviously it's an outdated methodology for waste management. But to give a good analogy, I like to go camping with the kids quite a bit, and when you get into higher elevations, there's going to be rules and regulations for how far you have to be able to dig a pit for any human waste. Now, for a 1 or 2 or 3 day event, it's really not that big of a deal. If you dispose of it properly, it's going to decompose just like it would with any other animal that's running around the forest. However, when we're talking about cesspits and why they're outdated, when creating a large pit underneath the residence of the house that has nowhere for the waste to go, it created inherent issues with health risks as well as how much waste is actually being produced in a modern day home. When we think of waste, we think of obviously the sewage that's leaving the house, but the consistency and cleanliness and hygiene standards that we have today also provide for a lot more water waste that reside within the home. And because of this, cesspits were so outdated because they would fill up and they were hard to access. They had no leach fields that would allow them to properly dispose waste out and away from the house. So eventually cesspits were replaced with septic systems, and a septic system is very different. Typically, the waste actually resides out from underneath the foundation and into an open space, typically in the back or the front yard. So once it makes it to the septic tank, which would be similar to making it to, let's say, a city sewer line, it's able to fill that basin and allow for proper disposal of that, as septic systems are typically cleaned out once a year. But in addition to that, it also provides the ability for a leach field, and that leach field allows for liquid waste to be able to properly decompose and leach out into a larger portion on the property. It's the combination of these two items that allow for a more hygienic experience when it comes to septic systems that reside throughout the country. Mostly, these are going to be residing in places where there isn't city sewer or where it's too cost prohibitive to bring city sewer to the property. And so this still exists here in the Phoenix Valley on a greater scale, typically as you get to the outskirts. So why exactly are we talking about poop and pee when most of the homes that we build actually get connected to city sewer? That the homes in which we're building and the neighborhoods in which we're building were established in the 50s and 60s when these were common practices within the building industry. And almost every house that we build has a septic system that's outdated and needs to be removed, or a cesspit. And in the case here at Roma, we actually found both, which we were able to take care of with our geotechnical engineer to make sure they were properly backfilled, compacted, and slurry and sealed so that we'd be able to build our new home without any voids underneath the slab and allow us to be able to build a better product that's connected to city sewer so that the next homeowner won't have to deal with these issues and simply pay a bill when it comes in to the city of Phoenix to be able to make sure that all the waste that runs into the sewer is appropriately disposed of for years to come. We appreciate you following our Rebuild the Block. If you have any questions about these topics, feel free to DM us below. And as always, have a great day.